Sun don't shine my way. I'm a bump on another day. I gotta keep on bumping. I am everyday people. Shine 'em up good, going through my neighborhood. Ah, ah, oh, no. Shine 'em up good, going through my neighborhood. Uh, I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour. That's when my love is coming down. I'm gonna wait till the midnight hour for my love to come around. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shot 'em up good, going through my neighborhood. Thank you. Thank you. May the power of blue argonite propel you. May the power of blue argonite propel you. May the power of blue argonite propel you. We are bringing in that virgin energy, baby. Don't never change. I give energy out. I give freely. So I give you this fractal. The thunderbolt makes you also clear through ignorance. And we give you the amplification of the diamond. May this diamond be in your conscience and amplify all your good and humble thoughts. And we give you also the full power of the Virgin, baby. We give it to you in its full strength, and we give you the fractal in its full strength. We give you its mantra. So if you're brave enough and want to go up into there, we give it to you in this way too. And then we also give the Virgin vibration, baby. This is the intention of this. So I don't want anybody to get fooled and it's like, well, that's the kind of thing Big Pontiac showed up in my dreams. Well, yeah. You don't find friendship if this show up in your dream. That shows you kind of getting ahead there, kind of breaking through. So I give it to you in harmonics. Well, let's put a little light on the subject so y'all can see how wonderful I am looking tonight. I look real good today. I look real good today. I look real good today. I look real good. Well, welcome to the Chocolate Mountain Show, and I am your super funky host, Big Pontiac. I am also the holder of the infinite. I did not bring my cigar over. Of the infinite sacred ball game created by the Hero Twins, and I am also your one and only Galactic Daddy-O. Welcoming each and every chocolate mountaineer to my galactic patio that goes from Minnesota to the universe. So welcome, y'all. Welcome. And tonight's special beer, we are having again some wonderful beer. We've got Red Axe Irish Ale from Moose Lake, Minnesota. So pop them if you got them. Can't believe I didn't bring my cigar over. Oh, I'm so sick. And I don't have any mints over here. Oh, this is going to be rough. Probably going to have to get up and go get my cigar. Depending how long I go, I got water right here, so I might be able to make it. What's happening? PJ Allen, my man with the master plan. What's happening? Brother Lobo, thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me tonight. I had fun today, hoop with my son. Derek caught something that I said that was true. When I was going to the police academy, and PJ, you say you remember his son, Devin Oliver, right? Devin. His dad and I were in the police academy, we used to play. We used to play 1-on-1 full court. Like at first we would play 2-on-2, 3-on-3, whatever. It was enough people, but it was always full court. And then if everybody quit, it'd just be me and him going at it full court. And I would hit threes on him, and I would check him because he could have to shoot layups on me and shit because I was just killing him shooting threes. But yeah, we used to go at it in the police academy. He played at Western Michigan University. So his son was able to make it to play with Dayton. But that's how much I used to hoop. When I was at the police academy, we had to do PE. And so a lot of times we just had the gym. And so there was a group of us that would hoop. We could get 10 people. But even if we had 8, we would still play. We had just enough to play half court. But most of the time with the students at the school, too, we had enough to play games. Because a lot of times the students would come down there and see us hooping, and they would join us. And then this is off season for it might have been when I started the academy in August, it wasn't the basketball team hadn't started yet. So it was just the basketball team that would come in there and play, and the students started playing with us. So we played a lot. I was in great shape. And this is the funny thing. When I was in the police academy, I said before, we had a drill where we had to pick up this dummy and run backwards. Dude was like, dude I went to academy with said he saw me and he was like, yeah, Brian just picked that thing up and he sprinted backwards. He's like, I knew I couldn't do that. And I was like, wow, if you just known the night before I had got sloppy drunk. Shouldn't have been trying to work out the next day. Guess kind of lucked out. Just kind of lucked out in a way. And this is opposite, but that's okay. We should send out a positive quartz vibration today. Yeah, let's send that out. Positive quartz vibration. Quartz is also an amplifier, cleaning our energy. I hooped. I definitely got to get them in shape. I hooped. I definitely got to get in shape, man. I'm telling you, you saw me indoors. I told you. Like now, I couldn't really shoot threes, but that was just my mid game was already. And I shot a couple of days with my daughter. I told you, once I started playing and I play indoors, if I got in a little bit of shape, it wasn't really enough to play full. That I'm leery, and I tell you, this was the hardest thing to do. The last time I walked in that place, other than when I had to use the bathroom, when my son first started his interview and I had to use the bathroom, so I didn't go down to the locker room. I had to go through one of the businesses. But other than that, today was the first time I went to the locker room because when I had tore my Achilles, they had to take me out in the stretcher to, they took me to my truck. I didn't Yeah, yeah, they took me to my truck. They had to help me to my truck. Yeah, they had to put me on the stretcher to help me get out to my truck, and then they took me to my truck. Yeah, because I wouldn't go to the hospital with them because I wasn't ready. But they took me and took me to my truck, and then I had to drive home, and then I went to the hospital because I wasn't gonna live in my truck. I had a Land Rover too. I wasn't gonna leave that up there. So, but it was the first time, Yeah, just hooping, man. We played the 10. I got a good sweat. I didn't play pickleball. We got back kind of late. Nobody was there yesterday. When my daughter and I went at 7, nobody was up there. So I sat and watched. I was watching the TPT money games. They playing at the Rucker, which is kind of cool. One game was at the Rucker. The other one, Oklahoma, maybe I can't remember where both. But one game was they playing up in the Rucker, so it's kind of cool. Hey, Jody, how you doing? So I got a good workout. I was soaked. By the time we got done, I was soaked. So we got a good workout there. But my shooting. And so I'm gonna play my friend's nephew next. Yeah, he's back from he was hooping in Kansas City, so he's back. So I'm gonna catch him sometime and put that work in on him. Watch somebody quick just run right by me. Be like, hey, here's a guy right there. What happened to him? I like hooping on double rims, helps you improve your touch. Yeah, like when I made the most I ever made, not threes in the game was 9. I made 9 threes in the game. And it was on double rims. We really, I tell you what's interesting in the semi-pro league I played in from the summer of '87. Wow, I don't think that semi-pro league stopped until 94, 95. Seemed like somewhere in there. So, but the support and you see it on TV for the first time. I want to say White Man Can't Jump, but that beam that comes out the ground, the hoops that have the concrete beam that curves in, and then they put the hoop there. As I said, Chicago at one time had 11-foot hoops. Some of them parks on the south side by my cousin's house had them 11-foot hoops, like if you was just playing fight and stuff like that. But but the company that made them concrete hoops that curve were out of Battle Creek, was out of Battle Creek. And those hoops was the hoops that you could never tear down. Like you could, it was like the company that made the double rims and the company that made the hoops said that you could not tear them hoops down. And as far as I know, since '07, them hoops been there and they ain't never tore down the nets, but never the hoops. So yeah, it's definitely a touch to shoot on a double rim. But after a while, yeah, the hoops was up like 8, 9, no, like 87, 88, 89. Yeah, I used to put work in on them people. That was them games where Tim Reed had like 60 points. Another dude on my team had 44. I had like 32, 34. And we were like we were young because shit, Tim was probably only 23 at the time. Yeah, because I was probably 26, 27. Footers was maybe a year younger than me. So we still had a pretty decently young team, but just not a lot of skill. But it was one game we put it together, and we beat the second place team that was second place at the time. And they had a lot of good older players, but shoot, Tim put it on them. Footers hit 5 or 6 threes a damn self. I think at one point he hit 4 in a row. So, but yeah, I used to love those because teams like they would come over and have it was some day they celebrated at the park, Family Day. That's what it was. And teams from other cities would come in. We'd have teams from everywhere come in, hoop all day. I mean, we'd literally hoop all day, all day. It was like, they had kiosks there, people selling stuff, and just playing ball, people cooking food, and entertainment, people singing, rapping, whatever, dancing. And then it was always continuous basketball at every level. It started early in the morning, so it was always continuous basketball at every level. I said one time they made me play back-to-back games. It was like for third place, I played and we won. And they let me rest for like 15 minutes. They said, because I was taking off my shoes and My neighbor's like, what you taking off your shoes for? You guys about to play again. I'm like, what you mean? It's like, you guys got to play this other game. Now, the team that watched us play got to sit and watch, and then we got to play another game back to back. And we all started getting cramps, and we end up losing third place. I still had like 29, 30 points, but not a lot of help. And even I started getting cramps. It was hot. Here's my Vesuvia light. We're sending that Vesuvia light energy out there. Let's send some Vesuvia light energy out there to the people. Yeah, let's get that out to the people too. There we go. No, it's opposite to them, but it's all about the vibration. Send the vibrations out there. I mean, of all the things of getting old, that's what I miss the most. I miss being able to play. It's kind of hard that you do something like that at a fairly decent level, competitive level for men. And then, you know, you get too old to do it. One thing Lifetime has always done, they got the old dudes that play together and they got the young guys that play together. As I said, when I was well in my late 30s, we had to play dudes that was young dudes in the 20s. That was the only way we could get the games in. To go to state, you had to play so many games. And so we always had to play. We were always in the top semi-pro league, but it was like young guys. So we always playing these younger dudes. But from a 10-year period, we dominated. For 10 years, we dominated our division. We won our division 10 straight years. We're basically the same older dudes. Basically the same older dudes. But we'd go to state, and my guys would choke. We'd like, because we left Battle Creek, they would just choke on me. So it was kind of frustrating. You know, I always would go down there and play well. I had dudes that from other cities was like, man, come play with us in this tournament, you know. I would meet guys in tournaments and play well, and they want me to play with them. One dude was down in Coldwater, started playing with him, and, you know, met more people, started reffing down there. So it's like just expand as you meet people. But let me tell you this, when I played with this Coldwater team, we played a team from Muskegon. Matter of fact, this cat I played with, man, sadly, Earl Kitchings was his name. He was a cat from Muskegon. I saw him play in high school. You know, I knew his family. And that brother is now with us. He accidentally fucking with a gun. They was just fucking with a gun and killed him when he was in his 30s. But I remember playing against Earl. And we stopped and talked afterwards, you know, to know who he was, because he played at Kent State. But I'm going to show you how funny some people are. We playing with these brothers. I had 19 at halftime. Halftime, they up by 2. Keeping them in the game. Now, these guys kind of had play and movement and stuff. Wasn't really breaking people down one-on-one. But I was like open for the ball. Like on a lot of these movements, dudes wouldn't hit me. And it was like to not, and I know it sounds petty, but it was like a lot of times they wouldn't pass me the ball. They like froze me out in the second half. I had 19 at halftime. I ended up with like 25, 26 points. I think I scored 8 or 9 points the second half. And they wasn't passing me the ball. It was like all the points I got. I shot a 3 and got fouled, so I made 4 in the corner, and then I hit a layup. I think that was it. No, I hit a couple more shots. But it was like I got the rebound and stuff or just pushed it. But these dudes froze me out. Like we're in the state tournament to keep advancing, and these dudes rather lose than see me play well. So you figure that shit out. You tell me that makes sense. You done paid money to play in this tournament. So get in. What's happening? What do you think about LeBron at the Drew League? We talked about that a little bit last night. It's Globetrotter basketball. You can't look at it as nothing more than Globetrotter basketball. That's all. Just Globetrotters. I mean, you can get anybody they knew. Wasn't nobody going to hard foul him there. You think anybody was going to hard foul LeBron there? Nobody was going to do that. Looked like a publicity stunt. Maybe, you know, with the way they do these rituals, they start early. And maybe that's what it is. So, he ain't never seen no point in playing in them before. So why now? Oh, I'll tell you what's interesting, though. Okay, I caught this little bit of gossip. So check this out. So LeBron, you know, been playing at the Drew League. Last year, that's where they showed Westbrook. That Westbrook was coming to the Lakers. You know, him and LeBron, cool. You get it? This year, when LeBron played, and LeBron hanging at the Drew League, he ain't speak to Westbrook at all. They ain't even on speaking terms. So Westbrook is out of there. He ain't even speaking. And you know Westbrook got a new agent, which I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Westbrook was smart to opt in. That was smart. That was a no-brainer. Who wouldn't opt in to 40-some million? But the way it looks like they're going to buy out his contract. And they could buy him out for much cheaper, but that's where it looks like it's going. But I don't know. I don't know if the agent said, we signed. I don't know. 42 points. Yeah, Thomas, 42 points. His name was Earl Kitchings, man. Nice game. He was about my size, but he was a stronger dude. I remember watching him in high school, but the whole family, I knew some of the family and stuff. I mean, we talked for a long time. Even though we lost, me and him talked for a minute after the game. Yeah, Earl Kitchings. And I remember just watching the news thing, and my guy called me. He's like, that was Earl, because we had heard. I don't know how I heard about it. It was on the news or something. And then somebody's like, yeah, that was Earl got shot up there. Just fucking around. They just fucking around with the gun. The gun went off and killed him. Yeah. And I had met him not too long before that. Again, I knew about him because I watched him hoop in high school, but yeah, it's messed up. It blew up the internet. Yeah, I saw it blew up the internet. But yeah, the 42 coding, of course. Yep, of course he's doing a lot with the 42 as others. He called DeMar his dog and was teammates with him at the Drew League. Yeah, I don't think that's who they're going to make the trade with. They're trying to make the trade with Irving. I wouldn't get rid of Irving for him, but and put him in, and they're going to put Durant back with Westbrook. But I don't know. Westbrook done did all the shaming, so I don't know how much more shaming they gonna do. They was hating. I had something similar. The coach draws up a play for me to shoot a game winner, and these fools acted like they didn't hear what the play was. Now I'm gonna tell you what I did one time. One time, I put the game into overtime. I was playing in the semi-pro tournament again down in Coldwater. I put the game in overtime. They drew a play. And I had a very similar clean shot, clean look. Lost it like we had a few minutes left to win the game. Tied it in overtime. We got the ball back. A few seconds left. I ended up taking the last shot. The team was mad at motherfucker. I took it, but it was like, shit, I just hit. So in overtime, I take the ball out. And as I said, I played quarterback. And I probably still have the tournament record for my team. Probably had the district record still for most assists in a tournament game, for my high school at least. I had 11 assists, and it was like I was good at throwing the baseball pass. I was good at that. And one of my guys, like I something happened where they scored or something. A play happened where it knocked out of their basket, and everybody was kind of pressing, and so it was like it came out, and we're going the other way. As everybody's up pressing, one of my players did an in move and he beat John. I mean, beat him bad. It was like he was damn near to the top of the key when I threw him the pass, and John was trailing. But everybody else was up pressed their man. But my guard had got back by him and beat John. It was like 4 or 5 seconds left. And by the time he hit the layup, that was the deciding factor. And they had a stacked team. I had the twins out of South Bend, which was both about 6'4", trying to think. But I had a decent team. I had a decent game. But, yeah, the team we beat, like my boy Rob Cole and John, we beat a good team. But, yeah, them allowed us to keep it. And they was mad. They gave us coats, too. I kept that coat for a long time. It was like a pullover coat they gave us that said Coldwater, whatever league champion. It was like sweet little coats, but we got coats. They was mad. They was mad when we beat them. Heard about Kyrie and KD going to LA with Bron. I don't think KD is. They ain't under the salary cap. They ain't got enough to pay KD. I don't even think they got enough to pay Irving, but we'll see. That happens, I'm going to stop watching. Kyrie Kyrie was reported to play in the game before LeBron, but didn't show up. Ah, okay. Wow. And, they was pumping that video with Sam Cassell talking shit to Harden, but I just think that's, going through the stages. I don't know. You think Harden got enough to make the Hall of Fame? You do have to look at all pros. That's a big difference to make all pro. That's a real thing. The all pros. But I don't know. I don't know if Harden, is he good enough to make the Hall of Fame at this point? And poor Carmelo, a free agent. There ain't nobody picked him up. And he averaged 13 points a game. It's really not bad for a dude who can step in and shoot. One time he was considered probably the second most clutch player other than Kobe at one time. It was like one or two, him or Kobe. So. And then football camp starts in a couple weeks, so a lot of the football buzz in the next. Yeah, I think next week rookies start reporting next week. I think Melo probably gonna go to the Nets or Brooklyn. It's the same thing. Okay, or the Knicks. I don't know if Knicks want him. I don't think the Knicks is gonna want him. I don't think to the Knicks. I'm not sure. I don't think to the Knicks. Nets maybe, but he averaged 13 a game. He's a good spot up, not a great defender, but actually tries. He got good size, 6'8", And what people have to realize is, everybody, it takes them a while to pick up the script. So a lot of them dudes, that's what they in the G League doing, seeing how they can, pick up the script. And the ones that do the script the best, they get to step right in. As I said, the guy from that played hit 10 years in the G League, played 10 years. He was the only guy that had played 10 years in the G League. And remember, Magic and them gave him a contract on the last day. And this guy comes in and scores 20 by halftime. I mean, what is the chances that this dude just don't sit? I mean, what is the chances this guy gets signed that day? They running a bunch of sets and he get a bunch of shots. But he got rewarded. He, made money playing at that level. When he wasn't playing there, he was playing other places. Just make a living of it. Same way with the two dudes' whole career is minor league baseball. And actually, a minor league baseball player can be a millionaire. Play his whole career in the minors, go up and down, but mostly in the minors. You can retire as a millionaire. And with a pension. Yeah, Harden didn't do nothing in the playoffs. Yeah. Andre Iguodala. Okay. So I don't know if Harden makes it or not. I really don't. But again, all pros, that counts. How many times was you all pro? That's football. That breaks a lot of people down because a lot of people like Wes Walker and them little tiny receivers that played with Brady, they was breaking them down. Like, what all pro did he make? Yeah, he won a Super Bowl, but did he make all pro? Now, a lot of times the dudes wasn't lining up. So, yeah. So, and again, they made it further than me, but I'm not the one I'm not the one judging them. You're looking at the information, and are they the ones that are going to be able to be immortalized? That the hard work and the fixing is paid off. Because that's what you got to be. You got to be a great actor because you got to be a liar too. And you lie to the world. Athletes learn to be liars, and great liars, because you're lying to the world. You know that your thing is scripted, but you don't talk about the script. You kind of stay to the theme of the game. Whatever the theme is, you stick to that theme. Like I've never understood why TBS has always wanted and insisted on interviewing the coaches during timeouts. It just seemed the stupidest thing that they would make them take timeouts to interview them. Now in the rookie league games, they interviewing the rookies between periods. Hockey does the same thing. Do you know how tired hockey players are and how hard it is for him to go all the way back in, get his top dried, get his gloves dried, get his understuff off and dried? You know, when they go between periods, they got to take a lot of that equipment off so they can dry it, so they can go back out there with dry clothes the next period. So it's just, I don't know, just a waste. Yeah, he was a teacher playing in the G League. If Tracy McGrady made the Hall of Fame, James would make it. That's a good point. I agree with that because McGrady probably shouldn't have made it. I say McGrady made it on being a high school player that went in. An injury. He did win a title, but he wasn't a factor on the team. Yeah, he was a teacher playing G League, and he probably made. I bet at this peak he made 100. I bet at the peak he was making 100 in the G League. I bet anything he was making 100 in the G League at his peak. So good money, and if he had a teacher, he had good benefits. The schedule worked because the games was in the evenings. Probably got a little bit of the travel, but if he had been teaching for damn near 10 years, they got to go along with it. When they'll work it out with him, they see you as a valuable person. That was another thing is, teachers being males. A lot of dudes didn't want to be teachers anymore. So you had, for years, a shortage of males. I mean, I heard one thing a preacher said that was really right. He said, you have a young man, and I thought this was right. One of all the things, he was a hustler. I lost respect when he told I lost respect for the dude when he told a room full of dope dealers that they should invest in his church, pretty much to launder money. I lost respect for him. But one thing he said that made sense. He was saying that you take a boy, and the boy is raised by his mother, and all the boy's young life, he's told what to do by women. All his young life. He goes to school. Again, he's told what to do by women. And so as the boy hits maturity and puberty, here's this boy always told what to do by women. Women are always telling him what to do. And so in some ways, this boy starts having resentment, always being told what to do by women. And I think that was spot on that preacher put out there. I think that was spot on. I really do. I think that was spot on. And he was even saying, boys that hit women, sometimes that kind of rage of always being told and controlled by women, that kind of rage, you would understand why men hit women in some instances. That fit into that narrative. So, Carmelo McGrady all time. Carmelo McGrady all time. I don't know. I say McGrady. I say McGrady because of the high school and all he had to overcome to stay in the league and play relevant. But like, if you believe when he scored that 10, 11 points, I mean, that was so scripted. The way Reggie Miller did it was scripted too. So it's hard to judge some of this stuff, guys. Hard to judge who they want to make immortal and who they don't, who they do and who they don't. It's kind of hard to judge sometimes. But my vibe is high. Feel good. Feel good coming out here and talking to people and trying to be positive. Still fiending. I think I might have to get up and go get my cigar, but I'll go. My beard's about gone too, so my enthusiasm is going down. He's still playing too at 36. I'll say this. He, like him and Penny Hardaway, got bad advice. They both got that microfracture surgery, and they both, after having it, same way with what's his name that played with the Knicks and started with Phoenix, that big fella too. When they had that microfracture surgery, they did not seem to come back from it. I think the only dude that I knew of those period guys where the microfracture surgery worked was Allen Houston, if I remember right. I think of all those guys, Allen Houston was the only one that I think came back from microfracture surgery. Hardaway thought that was going to revive his career. I remember reading an article where Hardaway said when Shaq was gone, he thought he'd average 50 a game. Who did he think he was? I guess he told that to Michael Jordan. Well, Shaq gone now. Yeah, Stoudemire. I'm pretty sure Stoudemire had microfracture surgery too. He wasn't the same after. Well, I'll say he wasn't the same. He matured enough. He was big enough, and big dudes tend to have long careers. I mean, Robert Parrish played 20 years. Jabbar played about 20 years. Despite having the tore up ankle, Kevin McHale had a nice long career. I mean, people forget Robert Parrish started with Golden State. I know Robert Parrish is known for playing with the Celtics, but he played on some Golden State teams that wasn't very good. You know, if people remember that. And Robert Parrish got busted for having pounds of weed sent to his house. Then eventually the NBA tested players for weed, but for a long time it wasn't part of their contract. And it wasn't until the other leagues put pressure on them that the NBA added that. Because for a long time, weed wasn't included in the testing. Now I think it's thrown back out. Now, you got a joint. That is not a joint. Looks like a joint, though, doesn't it? That is not a joint. That's not a joint. That's not a joint. Thought it was a joint in here. Guess I'm wrong. Never mind. After surgery, he kept going to the basket and started settling for outside shots. Yeah, he stopped going to the basket. Yeah, Penny thought that was going to revive his career, but a bunch of them. But as I said, I think Houston was one of the few that got that surgery and actually was decent after he had it. But yeah, now I can't tell you what else was wrong with him, but he was one that injury definitely played a part in taking away some of his greatness. Got a nice comment about Gale Sayers. You know, they thought one person said he was older. He said he was in his 70s. And yeah, I think I spoke on this, and I'll speak on it a little more because I know a little more. So, talked to my cousin today, and it's funny when you have family members. It's really funny how this works. You have family members, and even though you're 5 or 6 years apart, you might not really know them. And what I mean by this is my first cousin, and he was my first cousin that graduated in 1973. We're 6 years, you know, he graduated 6 years before I did. But I remember some things that happened in his life. He never got to play sports in high school because he fell and had 2 concussions. On the night that he had one of his concussions, I was there. I remember how everybody happened afterwards. They had to rush him to the hospital. And he said one time he's playing football, hit a stone. So he said they wouldn't let him play sports. But he's telling me, you know, my uncle passed. Well, really his father's brother. But all these people were my relatives. But it's just funny the difference of our age. And I remember he said, like, well, I never got to see you play, but I know you was good. And I was like, yes, you did. I say, you was at that game where they cheated me. And I've told this story before, and I'll tell you. And you tell me if they cheated me or not. So at the end of the game, I score. When they score, we press and they take it out. The dude who inbound the ball tried to bounce pass. I stole the bounce pass, spun to the basket, went up, made the basket. On the way down, the dude pushed me. He pushed me after I made the basket. They took the basket away from me. They were the number 1 ranked team, and we had just beat them. And they gave me 1-on-1, and I missed the free throws. But he was at that game, and he's like, that's right. But one thing that was funny, he mentioned, he's like, yeah, but I know you. And he's like, I remember I used to come with you back when you was rolling. And he started laughing. He's like, yeah. Because I could just remember. I told the story of Frank before. Frank saw me. I had seen Frank for a few weeks, and then Frank, we were at the park, and I told the story about the Narc girl. But Frank had just saw me and gave me a big old like piece of powder like this in the park. You know, he just like, here, this is what I got. What you think about this? And I was like, this is nasty, Frank. I mean, come on. You know I'm not going to buy this. He started laughing. He's like, yeah, that's what I thought too. So I was like, yeah, man, I wouldn't buy this, Frank. But he's like, go ahead and take that. Me and you'll do business. So I go back, and my cousin's in the car. in my car. So like me and Frank had pulled off in the park. You know, we were in the big park, and so I went back where my cousin was. He was sitting in my car, so I come back and I got a big piece of powder like this, and I'm trying to chop it up in the car. And you know, it's like it was damn near 7 grams, probably. It was probably like 4 or 5 grams. He reminded me of that. I forgot about that. And I got this big thing, and he was like, "Oh shit!" His eyes when I pulled that thing out and started trying to chop it up, he was like, "God damn." We ain't snorted at all, but we was nice up in that motherfucking park. We had some beers in there and some weed. We just sitting in the park snorting some shit, getting out the car every now and then. But I kind of laughed. I was like, "Oh shit!" But he was seeing me other times, back when I was doing my thing. They don't call him Chief for nothing. Yeah, they don't call him Chief for nothing. What's your thoughts on the young guys and where they all fit in? And Morant, Edwards, Tatum, Zion. Well, you know, it's the entertainment. It's the entertainment, and it's the new crop of what's going to keep it going. We see the names you just mentioned. You see in some ways the NFL do the quarterbacks like that, but the NBA, you know, the star players are always the quarterback, so it's no one position. It's interesting that they set Zion out, but Zion must be really a real physical problem. The Simmons thing, the other way is if they letting you play every day and practice, and you don't. Basketball, sitting out a season in basketball really ain't as harmful for you as sitting out in football. Football, you have a much shorter career. Basketball, it ain't hurting them young dudes. It ain't hurting Simmons. It ain't hurting Zion. As I said before, Zion really was never taught how to run. I mean, his physiology was all wrong. His kinesiology, everything. All his kinesiology, no one ever taught that guy how to really jump, run, land, and that is why. And so that they've had to teach him how to do all that. As I said, the guy who used to make fun on the internet of Zion, I mean, just the way he ran, no one taught him how to run. No one really taught him. He's lucky he didn't get hurt in high school. Again, carrying all that force and weight, they're looking at their investment. And they're like, look, dude, you got to learn how to, Truck Robertson is my comparison, but a dude and Adrian Dantley, again, not dunking, but could take everybody and drop them off. I mean, really, everybody on the bounce and drop them off. Too bad. Phil Chenier, too. Phil Chenier was another dude, but Phil Chenier was more of a mid-range shooter, but could open up. Like, even playing my son, it's so funny. Even playing my son, I'm just looking at his waist. Like, I'm dribbling, and I'm looking at his waist, and I know what I'm separated from. You're just looking at his waist because I know just the body angles and separation. And shooting over somebody is just separation. And so I'm just funny. I'm looking at his waist, and I move, and as I'm dribbling, I'm looking at his waist. I'm like, oh, I got him, because it's like his feet can't move well enough to come close to me. I'm switching subjects a little bit. Talking about Gale Sayers, y'all look this up. There's one time where Gale Sayers fakes a dude out. He takes a step forward, and he takes just on taking the step forward. How can I even explain this? It's like he took 2 steps forward. So when he put his weight on his front leg and he tricked the dude, he did both moves just using that one leg. He literally took 2 steps with 1 foot. I mean, 2 quick, like all the weight is on his front foot, and he faked the dude out with those 2 steps on his front foot. You know how hard that is to fake a dude out with 1 foot with all your motion, but you can find that. I think that video I shared, that one might be in there, but no one's had moves like him. So sorry I had to get that back in there. Luka is another name. Yeah, Luka is just another name. They don't like him, though. Luka doesn't have any national commercials. They don't like Luka. Oh, yeah, I definitely got cheated. It was no way. Even my football coach that hated me said, yeah, he was a certified. He's like, you made the shot. They straight up cheated me. And they was happy. Hey, Lorenzo, referees would have probably got beat up, but he fouled me afterwards. He was smart to push me. That bailed them out, but they called 1-on-1 on a shooting foul. on a shooting foul after I made the basket. He clearly, because I stole it, spun, we had him. We beat the #1 team. And we beat him low. We ended up losing 63-64. But with that shot, it was 65-64. And that was a heartbreaker. But that's where adults cheated the children, cheated us. And my high school coach didn't fight for it. He wasn't at him. He made the basket and got fouled. No, he made the basket and then got fouled. He didn't do none of that. He shut up, and he was a bitch caught in the moment. So he was a bitch, caught in the moment, didn't know what to do. And this motherfucker been coaching for 20 years. So he bitched out on me too. But what's up, Lorenzo? How you doing, man? What you doing up so late? It's got to be going on to something. But shit, I like when, following Super Sly. Even though he's a tough act to follow, I like this energy that comes on Sunday night. So, and I got to talk to my friend. So we was talking, watching Super Sly. She's like, what are you doing? He's like, you are multitasking. What are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm reading some shit Super Sly was talking about. So, right on, Super Sly. Right on. And all the brothers out there, good information to dudes. And he's right. We need to set up something different. I've thought about that too. We really need to look. I hate saying shit. I really do. I hate saying shit, put that shit out there, because it's like, it's how do I put it in? It is thought thieves out there. It's like you put shit out there, and then it's like motherfuckers looking for ideas and shit. It really is like, oh shit. So I hate that saying things. I really do, because it's like, I'm going to put a spell out there that I think something that's solid that could be put out there. And then it's like thieves that they got maybe the money, and then they can make it happen. So I hate putting out the things out there, but it's several things that look very promising. So yeah, I'm a meager dude. I don't try to show you that I am what I am not. I am a very meager person, but I think I'm pretty decent at investing. I think I've invested in the right kind of things, and it's a process, but it's like, I think my process works for me. So thank you for hanging with me during my process. I really do. I still feel positive. Because I really could be embarrassed about the presentation, but I can't be embarrassed by it, because right now, this is what I can do. And as long as enough people support it, I'm happy. As again, like Sly said, I don't beg for the likes. I appreciate that people write stuff. Yeah. Yeah, the coach was in on the fix. I don't know. He just panicked and didn't know what to do. Nothing. Checking you out, watching Sports Center, and playing this game on my phone. Oh, bet. But as I said before, we go into summer league when I'm a freshman going into 10th grade. Every summer league game I scored double figures. I'm playing against, like, we played Santa Gonzalo Bona Vista, and yeah, we got pounded, but I scored double figures. We got beat 132-32, but at 132, I had 10. I'm playing top high school level ball. We played like Detroit Redford, I think was the second game. We beat them. I had about 25 on Detroit Redford as a 10th grader. So one game against the top competition, I still was able to get to the basket and score. Against good competition, I still did well against varsity. And then you telling me I don't start? I didn't start in 10th grade. My coach's son was a junior. If I came up, it would have killed his minutes. It would end up killing his minutes. So, a little bit of politics. There's no excuse. How your coach can bitch up like that when he coached for 20 years? Lorenzo, I don't get that either. But that's what he did. He didn't fight at all. He didn't argue. He didn't do shit but sit there. He was telling nobody, don't say nothing to me. And I'll say this. I had a habit, and I broke it for that shot. I had a habit I had done it for years, where I would just take a step back, step up, and shoot. That moment I didn't. I mean, my habit was always take a step back, take a step up, and shoot. That shot I didn't. I changed for that shot. Matter of fact, I think I got a plaque. My junior year, I was the highest ranked free throw shooter, like 83%. from as a junior. My senior year, as I said before, I begged my stepfather to put up a hoop so I could shoot during football season. Because the nearest hoop was my relatives up down the street, but yeah. So I suffered. My shooting suffered. My shooting definitely suffered. But yeah, now getting that support hurt. But and I've watched other children get cheated. I've watched it through the years. I've been at games. As I said, as a young boy before I went to high school, I watched in the tournament a team get cheated. I watched Benton Harbor get cheated, and I watched them literally beat up the referees who cheated them. I remember, like, there's a place called around Kalamazoo called Portage Northern. Portage Northern. I mean, this is how much they cheated. So to get out one of the top teams, they let this dude travel. Dude, every move he traveled, they didn't call it. He beat one of the top teams in the district. Okay, this is the first round of the playoffs. Usually your conference. The next game, same referees, they play in the local team. His super move is travel. They must have called 10 traveling on this dude. Wasn't effective. I mean, little things like that. That's why when I coached high school, I never had any favoritism. I never cared that much for one. Like we used to, I told you, I had a contract for 5 or 6 years with this little Catholic school. Catholic Christian, I can't quite remember, maybe Catholic Christian. And we were their only referees, and we would put their coach out. Like, who was you talking to? It's like we had to put him out the church. They had the little gym and the concession stand, it was like, coach would get crazy. We'd like, you're out of here, coach. Or take him up, put him out of there, and he's like, shake our hands afterwards because he could come back in after the game. So, Jalen Rose talked about he came from a high school. Jalen went to Southwestern. Jalen's coach ended up going on Michigan staff. Percy Watson, I think. No, Watson, not Percy. Yeah, maybe Percy Watson. But that coached, as I said, Jalen's high school coach, and I can't say for sure, but it was probably a basket manipulated shot. When Jalen was in 10th or 11th grade, they got beat by a dude who literally threw the ball from half court and it went in. Jalen and them, Detroit Southwestern was up. A dude just threw the ball. I mean, threw it like this, threw it, and the shit went in. Probably manipulated. But that's how they lost as a junior, I want to say. Jalen was in 9th, 10th, or 11th. I don't think he was a senior. I think they won it. Because you got to remember, Jalen went to high school with Anderson Hunt. They won it with UNLV. I think he made All-American. Didn't make it into the NBA. And Vashon. I knew Vashon personally. Vashon Leonard went to the same high school as Jalen and Anderson Hunt, if y'all remember them. Detroit Southwestern, I believe. I met Jalen when he was young. And he talked like this. Like Sean Kemp used to talk like this. They interviewed Sean Kemp, and Sean Kemp straight up talking out his mouth during the interview. But when Jalen looked at Jalen in Michigan, he used to talk like that too, which was kind of a Detroit thing. Sean Kemp was just, I don't know. Sean Kemp from Indiana. Well, kind of Michigan, Indiana border. He was from Elkhart, Indiana. So you got to finish your question, Lorenzo. Am I slow? Yeah, you got to finish your question. But I want to say they went to Detroit Southwestern, I want to say. Detroit games, like New York is the poorest. From what I've seen of the hooping, New York is probably the poorest hoopers in the country. Now, maybe it's better now, but them New York gyms is like the White Shadow gyms. And the White Shadow gyms, it'd be some of the California gyms be like the White Shadow gyms, if y'all remember the White Shadow. It'd be the little bitty gyms. I remember one of them California, it was the White Shadow gym, and they put cameras and put it on TV. I'm like, damn, nobody can sit here. Like here, that would be considered a freshman gym. But New York, them White Shadow gym, New York had them super. They would show them New York cats hooping in them little old box cracker gyms. Yeah. A&T's gym wasn't that much bigger than mine. Where he came from high school, where he looked in the crowd at free throw line, the guy would have his hand in the coat. He looking like you better miss. I don't know. I don't know about that. I'll tell you what, though. It'd be like them gyms. It'd be, like I said, the first time I ref with Detroit dudes, they was like, you turn your back on the crowd. Because in Detroit games, ref can never do that. Because When the ref comes under the hoop, it's people packed under the hoop, standing room only in Detroit gyms. It'd be dudes standing there. You know, if there ain't no stands on either side, it's just stands on either side, but no stands in the hoops. It'd be people. Detroit would allow people to stand there. So, you know, you standing sideways the whole game. You never really turning your back because you never know. It's people like, it might be 3 deep when you get to baseline. It's 3 deep when you go baseline. It's just niggas, you know, 3 deep. So I think Jalen would have been a little more protected than that. I don't think they'd have popped him in the game. Anderson and Rashawn was nice. Fuck Rashawn. He's a gunning motherfucker. If this ever get to him, he's a gunning motherfucker. You had 80, but we had a chance to win. And you didn't pass the ball. You shot from half court and you had 4 people under the basket. Fuck Rashawn. For the Pro-Am American Airlines Championship, he had 80, 83, I think. But we had a chance to win the game. And you had to just pass the ball to anybody for Sean. Anybody for Sean. So fuck Rashawn. No, Rashawn was not nice. He had 80, but we lost. So 80 and losing, you get no fuck Rashawn Leonard. Everybody was open. You could have passed it to me on the bench, and I would have scored. Fuck Rashawn. No, Rashawn was nice. Anderson Hunt, too. Anderson Hunt was quick. His just timing, you know, his timing was wrong. That's all. I want to say Anderson Hunt went to the Pistons, too. But his timing was all wrong. His timing was wrong, and he ended up getting thrown out the league. Like I said, Scotty Graham is probably the worst case ever. Won the national championship game and got cut in the G League. He got cut in the NBA and got cut in the G League. You know, the worst league was like hooping in Switzerland. Switzerland, or what was the other? What was it? It was Switzerland was like one of the lowest of the low leagues. Dude, go like, I'm hooping in Switzerland. Dude, you struggling. Like dudes, I knew a bunch of dudes, and I had a chance to go hoop in Mexico. I've told that story before. To go hoop in Mexico. Because they was watching us play at the park. It was a couple of dudes that was playing, and they was kind of recruiting, and I met the people. Because H-Bomb was about 6'7", 6'8", great shooter. And Nate now he's a minister. Nate is real pudgy now, but Nate played in Mexico. He went down there, but I ain't go down there. I wasn't impressed. I was not impressed by Mexico. Like, yeah, you ain't giving up no bread. You coming around talking to people. Give me some bread. Zion getting paid for not even playing. I just think, I don't disagree with you, but I just think they kind of, I think they're kind of teaching him to run without getting hurt. So he was gun. Oh my goodness. Same with Kawhi. Yeah, Kawhi. Oh fuck you. He was hitting. Shit. He was hitting. I ain't gonna say he was gunning. That nigga was killing him. He was killing. Like I said, with the first dude I saw score 80, he was hustling everybody. He only made, when Eric hit 80, Eric only hit 10 threes. Yeah. Eric only hit 10 threes. Shit. When Rashawn scored 80, Rashawn probably made 20 threes. No, not that many. But I bet Rashawn had 40 in threes. I bet he did. I bet Rashawn had 40 in threes. He could light it up. Rashawn could light it up. He's funny. Because I remember the first time I met him, I had did a game when he was young where Mark White slapped Jalen, and Jalen wanted to go to the trunk and pull a gun out. We had to chase Jalen back to his car. I don't know if he'll admit to that story, but we had to chase Jalen back to his car because Jalen was like, I'll pop the truck over there. You talking shit? So we had to follow him back to his car, and he really did try. But so I met him. I knew that. But when I cut into him, I was like, I know you remember Mark. You remember you was there with Mark, and Mark was my guy. He had slapped Jalen. And Rashawn was at the game where Mark slapped Jalen. So when I came up to him, I'm like, you remember that game when Mark slapped Jalen? He like looked at me kind of like, but he was cool. That nigga could shoot. Now, the first shooter was Melvin McLaughlin, the deep threat. But Rashawn's shot, I mean, you want to study? The best shooter of all time is probably Rick Mount. But Rashawn, for a dude that Rashawn and Ray Allen is two of the dudes that could get the maximum on their jump and release it. I would even say Rashawn, who was shorter than Ray Allen, but Rashawn on his jump shot would probably get the same air as Ray Allen. Rashawn, I think, was only 6'4", 6'5". I think Ray Allen was 6'6", 6'7". But Rashawn could really get like if Rashawn released it from half court, a couple steps in, Rashawn jumping feet off the ground every shot. Not like Curry is a half little couple inch. No, if Rashawn is that deep, he is getting a full extension every time. I haven't seen very many players that could do that like him. Full, I mean, this dude, every jump shot, he jumping feet off the ground. And range, I mean, deep range, but I mean, he had that ability to really get high and, to shoot it at his peak. Not very, I say Ray Allen is the only dude, and that's a bigger dude that could do it. Nice, really nice. Smooth game, easy going dude. Smooth game, really smooth game. Yeah, I just talk shit, Leonard had long arms. Jake Paul soon fights against a training partner. The Jake Paul story is funny. All his opponents have been chumps, and Tyron took the dive. I rewatched first 8, and it's embarrassing. Leonard had long arms. I didn't even think about that part of it. But he used to get up on that Jay. And I mean, that shit was like perfect for him. But watch his whole release and how high he get up on his jumpers. Really nice. And consistently do that, Didn't really get tired. Like, to get his separation, didn't really, like a very efficient dude. Yeah, very efficient. Never fit in for some reason. And a little younger than Dale Curry, but the same kind of role that Dale Curry ended up having later in his career, where dude could come in and just shoot. He was with the Heat for a while. Timing is everything. Never, but that dude that could just come in, Vinnie Johnson, like, never picked up. But it's my guy. Known him, met him, like I said, met him when he was young. Know him when he lived here. You know who lives here, and I don't even run into him. I'm gonna tell you who lives here, and I never run into him, and I met him. In Flint was Trent Tucker lives here, I think. That's what I'm hearing. I'm pretty sure he lives here. Somebody else told me that. I never run into Trent Tucker. And I've known Trent Tucker because he had a brother. It was 2 of them. It was Trent Tucker, his brother. I don't think they went to college together, but his brother went to college. Because when I met him, my cousin grew up in Flint. So I went down there and I played ball with my cousin. And these was the older dudes around him. And, I go in Flint and just put in work. Just put in work with these dudes, never miss a step. I go right into Flint wherever we go. I'm putting in work when I was 17, 18, 16, 17. I'm going everywhere in the state and putting in work in Michigan. Natural immunity. Everybody is not talking about him. Why is ESPN not talking about Tyson Fury and his brother being banned from traveling for their mob ties? They ain't touching that. Because if it turns out that they let him back in, but that helps Wilder. Because like what did Ali say about Joe Frazier? He can't get no gate. The gate is with the Fury, is the brother. They said his brother talking about, but he's banned from, wasn't Fury banned from fighting in England too? Wasn't he banned from fighting in England too? So, but Souther's been in them situations, they let him go. They messing with him. Yeah. Ride the wave, baby. Ride the wave. They cheated Wilder all 3 fights. I don't know. I think he was meant to lose that. Styles and fights. The first fight was probably the best fight. The other 2, that second fight was ridiculous. The third fight was even more ridiculous. So the first fight was thought was the only time you really saw them both fighting. Did that guy do a long count? I think so. I think Wilder knocked him out. But one thing that's proven is Fury was riding with the punch too. As the punch was coming, Fury had a couple seconds to, he didn't get fully caught. He kind of rolled with it a little bit. Still probably stunned him. Motherfucker hit you, you could be stunned. What the dude said on Craig Facts, he said, Craig Facts said this last week, said, dude that got knocked out, they went to see him like a half hour later. Dude that got knocked out in this fight. Half hour later, they go to check on him. Dude is getting ready like he about to go fight. Dude didn't remember that the fight done started. He got knocked out. Dude is back in the locker room working out. Like when he woke up, he got up and he started working out for the fight. He had forgot he already got knocked out. Isn't that crazy? Motherfucker back in there working out, getting loose and shit. And they're like, relax, you just lost. He didn't remember getting knocked out. I thought that was an interesting story. But they brought up something too that's true too, and this even goes to street fighting. Like you can knock a person, like in football, you can get hit and get knocked out, and then you get hit again and it'll bring you back. That's an interesting thing, because I've had a hit where I got knocked out, it was like boom, and then somebody else hit me, and I was like, oh shit. You can get knocked out and then hit by somebody else, and it'll bring you back. In boxers, the same thing happened. Like one hit, you be, oh shit. And then they hit you again so quickly. I don't know how the brain reacts, because when you get knocked out, your brain actually shifts. But that's a thing. And it happens in football. Like linemen talk about that a lot. Linemen, like, you get trapped and the motherfucker hit you out of nowhere and you get trapped. Like you fall for that. You tackle and you fall for the trap, and you got that cross guard pulling and just nabs you in your head, shoulder area. And then, but he may hit you like right here. You just get maximums you don't even see coming. That may knock you out, but then the next dude hits you and it bring you back up. That happens in football too. I remember Trent being on the Knicks. Yeah, Trent was cold. Trent went to school here though too, but I forget that he's around here. Oh, and I didn't even tell the story about my uncle. I'm sorry. I want to tell the story about my uncle. So. Well, this is my aunt's husband's brother, but the way our family was, extended family, I always called him Uncle Gene. Never knew him any less. But he was all state in Michigan. He went to a Class C school, so middle enrollment, but again got caught where a lot of the schools and brothers and time. So he went to Western Michigan, and he went to Western Michigan. Not sure how many years he went there. My mother said he graduated, so maybe. But after he went to Western, he went in the Air Force to hoop during Vietnam, early Vietnam, I'll say that. Maybe 60, 61, he went into the service. But he went into the service. My cousin was telling me that, I've had friends and family that also went in the service and did number hoop. That was what they did. They hooped over. Because you're playing these pro leagues in Europe, too. If you're in Europe, you're playing these pro leagues. So if you're on the Army team of whatever your division is, you play in these pro leagues that's in these tournaments. So that's always been an option. I mean, a dude I call my brother, Donnell, took that. And that's all Donnell did. Donnell tell you, I had my own, he had his own apartment. He had, he ate damn near where the officers ate. And then they took him around to these different tournaments. And that's what he did for the 4 or 5 years he was in there. He hooped the whole time. So my uncle was he made a career out of that. But I understand. I think he graduated from college too, and worked his whole life at the gas company, Consumers Powers, where his brother, my uncle, worked too. My other uncle, my mother's brother, we had like 3 or 4 people. But his brother, as I said before, my one uncle named Buddy, Buddy ended up dying of alcohol poisoning. But Buddy was the kind of cat that would literally go to work with a 12-pack. Go to work, have to be at work at 7, take a 12-pack with him, drink the 12-pack by noon. While at work, I think he got off at 5, he would drink another 12-pack from 12 to 5 while at work. Then he would go home when he got off and drink a case. He would drink either a 12-pack or a case while at home. But one instance, and he pretty much admitted that he was drunk, because he was the kind of dude that had to climb up them poles and deal with electricity. And so one time he's probably a little bit too drunk to be climbing, because, you got the studs on with the, you got the studs on, but you got the telephone, hands and feet. And he fell from pretty high. He drunk, fell, And he said that wasn't what knocked him out. He said when he fell, he bounced off the ground, and when he bounced, he went head first into the telephone pole. So he fell, and that didn't knock him out. He said he fell and bounced, and when he bounced, he went head first. And when he tells the story, it's hysterical. But that took his life very young. They found him passed out, and they had to drill to release the alcohol pressure. You know, and they say alcohol, you know, kills great brain matter, and that's kind of what dementia comes from, the lack of great brain matter, or the lack of your neurons, you know, reconstituting. So, Wilder KO'd him in the last fight too. He had 14 count on the second knockdown. That's a good play. Wilder got his ass whipped. Hey, James Gant. Yeah, my uncle's natural immunity, you capping. Yeah, James, that was my uncle's name. They was Gants too. Now you just don't watch boxing. Okay, though, y'all talking shit to each other. Wilder came box. He got hit quick punch. Oh, so that was just a couple stories of the family, you know. And I'll say this, you know, no knock on them, but it was like a family of brothers that was almost all alcoholics. Almost all of them was alcoholics, and one was alcoholic so bad he was cool Monday through Friday, but Saturday through Sunday, like stupid drunk. Like he was so cool because he would sit there and, like, you know, the monkey with the clapping hands and shit. And we'd say, Panther, get on the good foot. The Panther and the monkey, you know, they had a little routine. He'd get the monkey clapping with the hand, and Panther be doing, you know, the neck bone or whatever they call it, you know, and they'd be doing like this and shit. But, you know, the guy would be abbreviated. And then as I noticed as years went on, he was getting drunk during the week too. At a certain point, he couldn't even work no more because he was drunk all the time. My uncle, when he retired, the worst thing they did was made him retire. Because once he retired, what else he gonna do? Eat or drink? You gotta stay up. You gotta do something. I got some shit you gotta sign.
I gotta stay up.
You gotta stay up until I need you to sign this shit.
No, I just woke up.
Look, Jigaboo. I ain't got shit to do but get you to sign some shit.
Damn, nigga, I'm just saying I just woke up.
So Jigaboo, you just wait when I'm get done. You be ready.
I just woke up. I'm not going to sleep.
Okay. Honey, what time is it?
Oh my God.
Just look right there. There's 2 clocks right in front of you. Look, what the clock say?
I'm looking for it. I knew what time it was. It's 2.
Okay. That's why you don't want jigaboos around you. Which is worse, old drunk or a young one? I say a young one. Yeah, young drunk is worse. Young drunk is worse than an old one. It was like I was watching Do the Right Thing and how they was getting on Ozzie Davis because he was the little local drunk. But, you know, you get into Richard Pryor, where Richard Pryor made you kind of romanticize the local drunk, you know? Like when he talks about the local drunk, could talk to Dracula. Like, nigga, what's your name, boy? Dracula? What kind of name is that for a nigga? Dracula? What kind of name is that for a nigga? You know, you romanticize the drunk. You know, Richard Pryor would talk about the drunk out there directing traffic and shit, you know? It's like, motherfucker, like, what's your occupation? You know, they would ask the children about what did the drunk do? He's like, shit, that must be his job because that's all he do, you know? He stand on the corner. And I know Nick and them was talking about, you know, people being on the corner for 12 hours, and that's a real thing. They really will be. You know, there's certain spots where dudes camp out, and no matter what they do, dope deal, not just hang out. That is a kind of a thing too. So, how are people being productive? Monkey shines. Monkey shines. So yeah, I think a young drunk is worse. But monkey shine, yeah, you know, I get him. You got yours and I got mine, and the monkey shines. That's a real song. You ever heard that? You got yours and I got mine, and the monkey shines. Do, 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 do. That's a real song. That is a real song. Oh, don't get me. If you stay, stay in my corner. Man, pimp music. There's nothing. Stay. You know, at the end, they'd be like, stay. Stay in my corner. Or where the one brother I was giving love to. Hey there, lonely girl. Pimp music. Pimp music. People are not taught to be pimps, and pimp is not a word that just means trafficking bitches. It don't mean that. It's a culture of a way for a man to act in manhood. That's all. That's all. And see, they want to kill that. They want to kill that energy by tying it just to human trafficking when it's not entirely that. It's niggas that was pimps that never made money, that never took money off a woman for her fucking somebody. But yet the way he functioned was every bit of a pimp. Every bit of a pimp. But bitch wasn't out there just fucking to give him money. She was doing other things to give him money. It's the same thing, though. I knew motherfuckers was married and had the best pimp game in the world. And they got everybody doing what they need to do for them. And happy they doing it for them. See people doing it. And they every bit of a pimp in every definition other than these bitches ain't going out fucking. But I've seen dudes turn women on to so many opportunities where these women go out there and shine and be loyal to these brothers for putting them in the right frame of mind to keep them going at it. So, Sean, got to have that pimping game, baby. That life, big pimping game, baby. That's what my brother, I got a brother that lives over in South Minneapolis, and he was always going, hey, baby, I know you want the ribs. So we'd always go back and forth. But that's what he would always say. He'd always go, hey, baby, how you doing this morning? We don't just say that, but yeah, we do. But it is a culture. It is a culture of behavior. And I'll say in a lot of ways of showing men how to be romantic. R&B music is the best romantic music you ever need. It just puts you in the perfect frame of mind. I mean, this is how it used to be in the 70s and 80s. It's like if you pulled a chick and she's digging your conversation and then she get in your car and your tape or however you played it was that same kind of mind frame. Do you feel, It's like she come in your car and then that love music, that thinking love music, thinking R&B come in. Not no shit that's calling, you ain't going in the car, you trying to pull this chick and you ain't got nothing. You go towards some rap music calling, talking about bitches and the hoes and shit. Wasn't like that. Now, I can't speak for the motherfuckers in California, but the players I knew in Michigan, it was my scenario. You go in there and you got that love music playing. And she's like, boom, as soon as she hear, whatever love music, she's, you keep her in that state of mind. You keep her in that vibration. That's how it works. I gotta look that up. When you talked about the monkey clapping, I thought that movie Monkey Shine. Yeah, it's a song that goes, you got yours and I got mine, and the monkey shine. Dun, 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 monkey shine. That is a song. And monkey shine is kind of a shine. They call black folks shines too. But that's a song. I can't tell you who it's by, but that's how I go. But Shines was the name. I don't know if y'all ever heard that. That is the name too. They'd call people Shines. That's, for you black people out there, they used to call you Shines. See, I'm a colored guy, so they never called my people Shines. But you black folks out there, call yourself black. Shine was another word used. It's just a shine. No, it's just a shine up here. You shine is a sentence. There's too many shines sitting around the store. Standing around the store. None of the shines were doing what they were told to do. See? Said it with a sentence. My son comes in here, looks for food. I have 2 packs of chicken that need to be cooked. Notice he didn't cook them. You know how quick this Ninja oven cooked chicken? It cooks in like 11, 12 minutes. A.B. Brown, my friend says something today. When has the need for Washington to have troops around it and stuff boarded off? We've seen slowly how they used to do it. Do you know the first time? Not the, okay. When my son was 1, we went from we didn't take a stroller, which was a big mistake for having a 1-year-old. It was like 3 of us, and we had to. And it was hot as hell. Oh my goodness, it was hot. But we walked from the Washington Monument with this heavy 1-year-old all the way to the Lincoln Monument. But at that time, you could drive up and down Pennsylvania Avenue, and there was literally a turnstile outside the Oval Office. I mean, feet outside the Oval Office used to be a turnstile. So to go, again, you parked at the Washington Monument. There was parking over there behind the White House. I can't tell you what side, but on the Washington Monument side is where you would park. You would have to walk through the White House grounds to get to the other side. And you were right next to the Oval Office. I'm telling you, you were feet from the Oval Office in this turnstile. The turnstile was it was a fence that had the White House, but you was right there. It was literally right there. And you cut through when you had to leave, go back to your car. It was the same way. That thing was there for years. He was that close. And they're not saying he's there right time. Like, I've been in the White House too many times. It's nothing impressive. Old house, 1700s house. But that's how it used to be. And now, slowly they stopped you from going to Pennsylvania Avenue. They cut that off. Now all of them judicial, so they're scared of the people. They're losing their power. They're losing their power. I think the reality is losing this power. I think the my is losing this power. I think all the way around. So their only alternative is World War III. As I said, the one thing to know about the elites, the end of the world is them not being in power. And I'll say this. If a God came back and took away their power, they would be happy because it took a God. But if regular people do it, they would try to kill everything and reset it so hopefully when they reset, it would be reset where they'd be back in power. That is the feeling I get. As I said about West Paneri's work, when he talked about the chemtrails, why were they really doing it? West is the only one saying the possibility that this reality could be fading. And I want to tell you guys, and again, you guys go out there and look at that part of Doctor Strange where they say they're paint and truly understand what they're giving you there. Truly understand they're giving you two things at once. They're giving you one dimension. They're giving you the flattest plane you can be is one dimension. They give you that as a possibility of being light, but they also show you how if you're those colors, you've got sound, you've got color, they're showing you creation. And the girl was like, you don't want to be that, but that's creation. But they throw that in there. But they're losing control. Like MJG said on the beginning of Space Age Pimpin', you may be my bride, but if you step aside, my ride is waiting. You step outside, my ride is waiting. There you go. There you go. But yeah, we're not even really taught to be gentlemen, We're not even taught to be gentlemen. I mean, that's why the song by the Temptations, Treat Her Like a Lady, and yes, it does talk about cigarettes, because I think the dude who wrote it, Ali, wrote it. Light the cigarette that she smokes, help her with her coat, treat her like a lady. But we don't get that. Like we was talking about, where is a woman? When you walking with a woman, where is she supposed to be? My daughter automatically know. She go to the inside of me. My daughter, her whole life, I've always opened the door for her. Since she, other than me holding her, but her whole life, I've always let her walk before me. So what do you think she's going to expect from a man if a man don't hold the door open for her? My son, If she's with us, my son will even open the door for both of us. He's picked that up. Or he'll just open the door for her. If they're walking faster than me, he'll open the door for her and let her walk in front of us. So she's going to expect that because I'm already putting that in her mind. If he ain't doing this, at least notice this. So we're just saying this being a gentleman. Mac Bone would say, being a Mac. I mean, keeping all these characteristics to still make you attractive to whoever your other. Do these romantic things, have these romantic habits, have habits of a gentleman. That ain't taught hardly anymore. To be a gentleman. You ain't just a gentleman to your mama, your aunts. Shit, you be a gentleman to her mama, her aunts. Ain't no woman ever been with me saying she ain't walking before me. Now, I had some periods where, I think when I was a senior in high school, I went first through the door because I wanted that work. Like if it's something happening, I'm gonna go through first. You follow behind me. I had that kind of arrogant feeling when I first started carrying guns when I was a senior in high school. I was arrogant like that. I'm like, I'm busting through the door first. You safe behind me. And I've said this before. I mean, we was so good with it where the women I dealt with wouldn't open their doors. I mean, most of the women that sat was with me, my first two wives, my first wives, but they wouldn't open their doors. They'd never open their doors. Like my second wife, she had to learn. But my first wife, she never opened her door. I always got out and I opened her door. That was like a habit I learned. I saw a player do that when I was young. I was like, oh, that's the greatest shit. And my ex-wife would just sit there. She wouldn't try to open the door. She'd wait for me to come around. Winter didn't matter. I would always get out the car, open her door. And they both came in that habit, knew that was just something I was going to do. They never would go. But she'd just sit there. Like if I got out the car and was talking to somebody and we was going into the store, she'd sit there until I walk around the car and open the door for her. It was like that. She it was to the point she would never really think to just open the door. It wasn't a habit she had anymore. She never would open the door. It ain't a matter of control. It was just she was used to my gentlemanness, where it's like she expected it. And not only expected it, she knew I would do it. And that ain't the thing anybody thinks about. Shit, you better open your own goddamn door and get out. For a long time, that's what I did. Where to the point where they never even would try to open the door. And I'm serious. I'd be talking to somebody, they sit in the car. They wouldn't come out and be nosy. They'd sit in the car and wait for me to come around. Like, nigga, no, I like this. No, nigga, I like this. So walk around and let me out. But you don't see people doing that. People trying to be romantic. You don't just be romantic because it's your anniversary or anything. It's every day. Do something that's romantic, that's cute. I mean, what is a high value man? What is a high value woman really? We talking about European culture. We trying to apply European culture to us. When we always been a people that make things work no matter who did what. Like I'll tell everybody, when I left my first wife, I had everything. When I left my first wife, I had everything because I knew I could get everything again. I could give her, when I left my first wife, she had a brand new car, and she had the house we bought, but she had a brand new car. You ask her, it's a brand new car. I can tell you what kind it was. When I left her in 90, 91 maybe, I had a 91 Grand Prix, and she was driving a Dodge Colt 90. So when I left her, she had a year-old car, brand new. We bought that car. We bought two cars. Well, actually, we had three because we still had the Audi. So it ain't like I left her with nothing. But I knew that the woman I chose next, I could have the same thing with her. That was my plan. That's how arrogant I felt. That I knew everything I left, I could go back and get again. And at points I did. A lot of other factors involved. But that's how I felt. That's how you leave people, too. You don't leave them with nothing. You leave them where they still winning. Shit, she took that car to North Carolina a couple times. Mm. My dad taught me and my brother to open the door for ladies. Yeah. But I do like if men is coming up when I'm leaving and the door is open, I keep it open for them. Or if I see like, especially getting beer and stuff, you always got somebody carrying something. You see somebody carrying the doors ain't automatic. Same way I was with my first marriage. Same way I was with my first marriage. Yeah, I didn't leave her with nothing. I left her with a lot where she was winning. As I said before, I brought her to Michigan because I knew everything would work. I knew the timing was perfect for her. She's had like part-time jobs. She went through Battle Creek Public Schools for 30 years. I mean, so how much, even though she went through a lot of heartbreak, I gave her a life that she would have never had if I did not say. If I would have said, you stay in North Carolina and I'm moving to Michigan by myself, she would have never had. Greensboro was no way she could teach. In the little town she from, we have a friend from a little town. The girl never got a teaching job. Now, her husband was a cop at one point, got shot, and I don't know. But I guess that's a story too, Like this girl she always was into daycare, even though she had a good degree. Her husband was a cop. What was the story? Shh. He was a cop, and I guess they were waiting to get theirs. I don't know. But she wrote me a big letter asking me for money because she asked my woman for money, and my woman was like, you better write him because I'm not giving you money unless he says so too. And she wrote me this big, long letter. Wow. I forgot about that. I sent him money. They ain't never paid me back, but I sent him money. Hadn't thought about that in a long time. I remember reading that letter like, and my ex wanted me to send the money too. I just saw the look she gave me like, you should send her money. Because it was our money, but it was more my money. But I remember I sent her money. And how people, we pay you back as soon as we can. Never did. Do you still believe in marriage, Big Pontiac, coming from your experience? Yeah. I like being married. Yeah, I would get married again. I ain't got no problem getting married again. Yeah. Like both of my daughters' mothers, we was engaged to get married when we broke up. When I left in Michigan before they tried to kill me, we were engaged to get married. My daughter's mother, we were gonna both times we tried to work it out. We were engaged to get married. So we were gonna get married. That was the plan. We were eventually both those women. I was gonna marry them. My daughter's mother, she wouldn't have been so funky about stuff. I'd have definitely married her. It's just so funny. It's just funny. I'm like her best friend. I'm her best friend. I really am. And I at times I just want to tell her this is like, get a boyfriend so you quit calling me. Because when she don't have a boyfriend, I'm like hearing from her too much. Get you a boyfriend, quit calling me, quit telling me your problems. But people look at me as a counselor too. Well, what do you think? So yeah, I do. I've been engaged, twice in the last. Well, I've been engaged once, but I was engaged to my daughter's mother. I mean, every time my youngest daughter's mother and I were together, the plan was to get married. The ring I bought her was really nice. I got her a super deal, and I made her give it back to me. Like she was living with a dude, and I'm like, give me my motherfucking ring. What is you keeping my ring for? I'm like, dude, she got my ring? Do I need to come up in here to get my shit? Oh, fine, I was gonna give it to your daughter. No, that's not. No, she wasn't in the plan when I gave the ring to you. My daughter wasn't born when I gave her she was not pregnant when I gave the ring to her. So you can't use that. That was between me and you. You broke the contract, so you give the property back. That's what it is. You give a woman a ring. You don't go through with it. She has to give you the ring back. She broke the agreement. Hear my son. So yeah, can you be cursed even in your highest vibration? No, that's like an oxymoron kind of thing. When you're in your highest vibration, you wouldn't be in your highest vibration if you're feeling. This is what I see in the question you ask. Imagine this. You got jet shoes on where you flying, but it's like there's something from keeping you as flying as high as you can. It's like you're saying there's like you're tethered so you can fly, but you can't go high as you want. That doesn't make sense. I mean, if you could fly, you could break away from anything. So there's nothing that could hold the energy down. So if you wouldn't be at your higher self if there's something that's still there that would throw you off balance. So you're not attaining that. Um, I'm getting a little more from it. So this is what it is. If you think of being in your highest vibration, you are moving right the whole time. You know, the things is twirling the right the whole time. But you're saying that it's a hitch there. So it's no way. I see the question. I see the vibration that I see the mood from where you're saying that, where it comes from. I understand that because you've tasted bliss, but yet there was something there. Okay, okay. So, okay. You, I know, okay. I know you see, yeah, I see what you see. So, how can I explain this to you? So, you saw a little bit of you breaking through, but yet there was something there. It's almost like you carried the bug with you. So, you held that. You held that. Yeah, you held that. You took that with you. So, you'll have to do the work to find out what it is. And if you can pinpoint the time period, it'd be easier to try to get rid of. Um, Learn not to carry whatever it is because you really don't have to carry it if you're breaking through. And what the question you're asking, it seems like you're breaking through because it seems like you're breaking through and seeing it, but it's like the little bug on your shoulder is there too. So it's like you kind of felt the weight of or the unbalance. So even though you thought you got there, I think it's you felt unbalanced being there, and that you brought it there. But remember, it's nothing new under the sun. So find the root of where it came from. That's the only way you can really dig it out. Because it should be a couple names that you could probably look at to where the curse, the pattern of the curse. So you're really not carrying it. You're carrying it there, but you don't have to. Um, put it down. Yeah, put it down. If you feel yourself reaching that, but you feel that weight, put it down. It's almost like the Apollo, space rockets. When you feel yourself elevating, let go of the rocket. It's the best way I could tell you. You're carrying it, so let it go. So if you feel yourself soaring, but you think that is with you as you soar, or if that's stopping you, is that the question too? Is it stopping you? You know, so if you're stopping you, because I try to, look at it from every way, you know it a lot. So if it's stopping you, yeah, you definitely got to find where it's coming from. So if you're trying to take off and you feel that it stops you every time, you definitely have to find out where that's coming from, and then dig it like you would dig a weed out of your yard. Put it out, free it, separate yourself from it. If you know what it is, separate yourself from it, but it would help if you knew where the root started. Yeah. Because I know some of my stuff, and it's like, I think it's pretty much fizzled out. But I just wonder, was there more I could have done? Yeah, to keep that energy, kind of where it is. So, yeah, that's. I hope that makes sense. Work on where the curse came from, and you can AOTF, and you can B Brown. You can get rid of the curse yourself. Knowing what the curse is. Uh, but you'd have to do the work to find how to kind of get rid of it. A little alchemy. Yeah, you'd have to do a little alchemy to probably break it. I tell you, a simple way is like get the names. If you know other family that had the curse, hmm. Well, what I was going to suggest is you could take the names of the family members that were affected and you could light them on fire and you could put them in a pedestal and kind of ground them up and then kind of, get rid of them however you get rid of them. Oh, sorry. Take a towel to wipe it down. That's one way to get rid of it, but the problem that I'm feeling, the thing I'm feeling though in your question is some of the people were innocent but were affected by the curse. So if they were innocent but yet still affected, I had to double think on how to attack that. So yes, I still think that would help. Don't know if it totally solve it, but that would help. Then okay, yeah. So yeah, you could still do that even if they were innocent but affected by the curse. But yeah, so once you did that, don't accept it back. And you might even have to spread that to family, but don't accept it back. But you'd have to recognize when it would come back in. So that's the other part too. So that's the best advice I could give you. That's the best advice I could give you. I tried to look at where where the question was coming from, but that's kind of how I would attack it if I was you. I think that could help. So I hope that's helpful and useful. But man, y'all, it's hot up here. It's gonna be in 99, 100 the next 4 or 5 days. It was hot. It was hot today. I went out there and was messing with my car. And it was like I didn't completely put it in enough shade. I was like, I'm gonna back it up and put it in more shade. Now, what people don't realize is what happens is when you don't have a garage and it gets 100 and stuff, and your car is out in it all day, your tires. If you ever notice how the way you get cracks on your tires is your car being sitting out in the sun. And if you don't have a garage, again, I'm not picking on you or anything. But like I noticed with my car in the winter, it's always 5 degrees warmer. Same thing. In the summer, my car is always 5 to 10 degrees cooler from being in the garage. I ain't got to do that, open up, let down the windows. The air just come right on. So, but paint, the sun kills paint too. That's another thing. Just have it out there beaming and, so. Again, I'm not picking on anybody, whatever your circumstance is, but those are because in summertime, people have garages, they just want to leave their cars out. And then the way people are stealing catalytic converters, I'd rather have a car inside. Anyway, surprised nobody ever got killed for doing that. Somebody catch them stealing their catalytic converter. But technically, you can't shoot from your house. Just because they're stealing your catalytic converter, you can't just shoot them. Hey, shoot. Well, what were they doing? They were stealing my catalytic converter. I had to stand my ground. But you shot them with a rifle from 200 feet away. Well, I saw it near my car, man. What am I supposed to do? Say, hey, you, leave my car alone. Don't work. Brian drop. Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, we saw that. They probably want to highlight him. He always gets his share of commercials. He's still the face. He's the same way as Tom Brady. They don't want Tom Brady. They're scared to let Tom Brady retire. It appeared like they wanted to push him out, but somebody in the NFL saying it's best for them to keep him going. So they're milking him now. and probably going to be shamed. They let him win the one, but I don't think they're going to let him win again. Now, I could be wrong. But LeBron gets the same treatment. They highlight LeBron. They want LeBron to play with his son. So wherever LeBron ends up, I still say LA because that's where the business is. He's made a movie, plenty of commercials, so he's taking advantage of it. Carmelo got a wannabe Hollywood chick to move him from Denver to New York, and he got one commercial in New York. One national commercial. All them years he was in New York. One national commercial. But you have simps in all levels of simps. And I'll say Carmelo was probably one of the biggest simps. Dennis Rodman, too. Young Dennis Rodman was a simp. He was a simp when he went in the league. He was a country boy that didn't know nothing, didn't have no game, didn't start getting bitches till he went to college, went in the NBA. That woman he got her pregnant the first, second years in the league, I think. You guys can look that up. But at one time, Dennis Rodman had a tattoo of his daughter on his arm, and his wife sued him, and he changed it. Dennis Rodman is more responsible for tattoos than NBA players and college players and anybody else. He was the first to really start heavily getting tapped. But the original tat was of his daughter, and then the mother sued him in court and said he had to remove it. And the court made Dennis Rodman cover up the tat of his daughter because it was showing during games. The same woman that was fucking Vinnie Johnson while she was married to him. That's why he ended up getting bigger tats. He had a couple, like I said, he had his daughter and a couple other tats. And then he got that tat. He had to get a giant tat to cover that. But he was the first one. I know a lot of people may say Iverson, but it was the person, really the tattoo craze of the 90s came from Dennis Rodman more than anybody. If you look back at it culturally, is the main player that was ground zero for tattoos was definitely Dennis Rodman. A lot of people say the trans and gay stuff, but tattoos was probably his lasting impact on sports. Like my sons, my 30, soon to be 33-year-old, and my 27-year-old, they had tattoos much later, again, because culturally, because of Dennis Rodman. Some of you watching in those age ranges, you were influenced, if you have tattoos, pretty much by Dennis Rodman. And I know a lot of people may not think that, but when you were younger and you were seeing people around you have tats and people on TV, that was Dennis Rodman's influence, more than anything else, I think, was tattoos. Because he was the first one to really do it, historically. How can you tell if you're cursed? I have 8 children. I raised 7. Well, I raised 4 here, and I raised my oldest son, and I have an older daughter that I didn't raise, and then I have a 16-year-old and a 20-some-year-old. How can you tell if you're cursed? Well, you have to recognize if it's a curse. Now, the other night when I got on here about them fucking witches playing, these witches do stupid little shit sometimes to irritate me. So it took me a minute to figure it out what it was. And it's like, again, with bugs. The witches for some reason want my attention. And they did some stupid stuff. And it took me a minute, and I'm like, wait a minute. This is the only way this shit can come in here, some witches. There's no way these flies can come in my house. Now, these fruit flies, of course, but regular flies, there's no way. There's no way they could come in my house. There's not a dead rat that my animals done killed. They would eat it all. You'd find bone. There wouldn't be nothing left if my cats killed a mouse. Wouldn't be nothing left. So I recognize they put a little hex on me that bring the bugs in the house. One of them, but not both together. So I see that as a mild, okay, temporary thing. But another thing that is, and again, I'm not trying to scapegoat, but timing, bad timing. Sometimes you can look at bad timing as someone put a curse on you so that your timing is bad. So that's one kind of hint. And I don't mean stoplights. I mean, when you do real decisions in your life, some reason you're already just step slow or the information is late. Timing. So if that kind of thing is happening, it might be possibility. If you see it in a pattern of too often, again, I can't tell you how long, but I'm saying if you're seeing that kind of pattern coming around you when you're doing stuff, recognize and say, and then see, talk to family, talk to friends, and see if that pattern is around anyone else, or it's been used before by someone else in the family, or is it just exclusive to you? And you can even look at when did this start. So that's another good thing on who might be behind it. It's like, when did this start? So that's the best way I can tell you is look at timing. And it is a lot of times the curses is backed with bad timing. You know, manifestation is what they call good timing. So that's best I could give you. Robin started tats and dyeing hair. Oh yeah. I'll say dyeing hair is really Wesley. Wesley was the one with the dyeing hair. Rodman copied Wesley Snipes in the movie with him and Rocky with the Taco Bell, whatever that one's called. But that's where the dyed hair come from, Wesley. Now Rodman copied Wesley Snipes, but it was really Wesley first. He played that character, and then Rodman copied the character. But as I said before, you know, that big building in Chicago where they both for years Michael was in a suit on the side of the highway. When they put Rodman there, they was always changing Rodman's hair like every week. And this is a big job where they got to come out there and get on that big picture of Rodman and change his hair. So they had to stop doing it because too many people was pulling over and wanting to take pictures from the building, you know, before car phones, or before car phones was as good as they are now. Well, yeah, we had phones back then. Maybe not camera phones though. I thought Cisco. No, he was way later. Way later. Way later. Michael Jackson and Dennis. Why would I care about that? I don't know. Why would I care? It's such thing as bad luck, and so why do some people just have bad luck? Well, B. Brown, some people keep themselves in that vibration. Some people like that vibration. And so some people keep themselves in it. Some people never learn and they keep themselves there to always have it happen. Yeah. And some people accept that. Some people accept that that's all they can have. What is the old saying? If I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. So they don't even accept luck at all. So how can they ever have good luck if they don't accept luck from when the anticipation of just having bad luck? Do you understand that? That makes any sense. So, you know, Richard Pryor talked about bad luck. Well, he made a joke about it, but you know, that was the song, Bad Luck. That's what you got. That's what you got. You played that number because that number's hot. Teddy. I want to say that it was probably Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, but Teddy Pendergrass singing for sure. But bad luck. I mean, that's you know, that's how prevalent they want you. That's what you got. Yeah, what you got. It's like something happened and you got Teddy Pendergrass, Harold Melvin, and the Blue Notes in the background saying, you know, as soon as the bullshit happened to you, and they right there, you know, light come on and then bad luck. That's what you got. That's what you got. Every time something happened, they pop up. But some people accept that. Like Slum Rock, you know. Those of you remember Flintstone Bam Bam cartoons, you know, and a lot of that. You still got to be old to remember Flintstone or Pebbles and Bam Bam cartoons, but they had a dude named Slum Rock, and Slum Rock was just bad luck. Like everywhere he went, he was just bad luck. And they showed little ways that, you know, to try to help him or try to stay away from him. If some big event was coming, they had to keep Slum Rock away from him, but yet they had to help him. So they was always showing you kind of how to, you know, get that gloomy away from you. So, but it's again, you know, if you accept something good, you got to accept things as bad. So you don't want anything good or bad. So you don't really want to be lucky. You want the timing always to be perfect. You want your abundance to be tied into your timing. so that you always the timing, the abundance that comes from having the perfect timing. That's what you want. That's what you're trying to manifest. So I'm talking in the NBA, but yeah, Rodman copied Wesley Snipes with the dye hair when Wesley played in Demolition Man. Yeah, and I don't think anybody said that back then. Rodman ain't the one that came up with it. It was Wesley, or whoever wrote that character to be like that. And then Rodman, and despite Wesley in a movie, more people copied what Rodman did, but Rodman copied Wesley, no doubt, no doubt. When I saw that, I was like, why is he being like Wesley? And he made it a thing. He made it a thing. So, yeah. So the best is just be your best and ride the highest vibration that you can ride. That's okay for you. You know, get rid of weight that you don't need. That's about what I could tell you. You don't need the weight. You don't need the stress. Let it go. N-word equals 42, 30 Broad dropped to 42, DeMar dropped 30. Wow. Is it wrong to gate is wrong to was it wrong to shame the gay community? I don't really talk about them. You know, two of my children are gay, but do I feel like I got to talk shit about them? Not really. Not really. I don't. I mean, that's personal. Can't say as you go, good or bad. To me, it's I'm neutral from that. So that is on you. That is on you. That is totally on you. What was his first color? Blonde. Yeah, his first color was blonde. He didn't do green or purple. He didn't do them till later. When he first did them first few games in the beginning of the season, it was blonde hair. Yep, because I was watching all them games. I didn't miss them bowl games. The only time I missed games was when I was coaching, but high school, trying to think of the NBA games. We played Wednesdays and Fridays. That would be the only time I would miss a bowl game. And generally the games was Thursday, Saturdays. So I rarely missed the Bulls play, especially that season. But all the time I lived in Michigan, one of the main cable channels is Kalamazoo. Rodman was bad as he want to be. Bad as he want to be was. You know what that blonde means. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Wesley doing it too, though. Wesley doing it too. Yep. Combined for 30 rebounds too. Yeah, I think somebody shared that earlier in the stream. But yeah, yeah. And later he would do the cheetah print. I'm the one that broke down on my other video. I broke down with Rodman. You can see he was totally handled because Rodman was on Barbara Waters getting interviewed at like the peak of his fame, and he wore did he wear the cheetah print hat or he had the cheetah print top on? And Barbara Waters at his peak, like probably the second season they won. When he was like at his peak, the second season, he was getting interviewed. And it might have been the first season, but I want to say they had already won the first title. And so they interviewed him, and that was, he wore the cheetah hat. And on I did a video on that years ago. I caught it. Why Dennis used to go to the sidelines, he would get kicked out the game. He'd go to the sidelines and get kicked out the game. And, when they called a tech on him and put him out, he'd go to the sideline, take his shoes off, and give them to people, which ain't uncommon players. As I said, one of the last times I was in the locker room in the 90s, Sam Mitchell gave me a pair of shoes because everybody gave the socks away. And everybody went in there, and that's what everybody wanted. There's only, 12 players? And everybody wanted NBA socks. I mean, back then, they wasn't selling them in the stores. NBA store, yeah. You went to a game, you could get them from the NBA store. But they wasn't in the stores, like you would later see. You can just go buy NBA socks, or easier to order. At one time, you was just getting them from the players. And so everybody gave their socks away. And I had a couple pairs. So I had got some from J.R. Ryder. So I had a couple pair of NBA socks. But I was there. I don't think I had a pair of NBAs because I went up there to hustle. So I was in town for like a week or so. And I didn't have any. I wanted to wear a hoop with me and shit. And so Sam just gave me a pair of his shoes. So not infrequent to get their shoes. They get shoes every game. Some dudes get shoes every.
About 3 fucking hours.
Some dudes shoes 2 hours. Some dudes get shoes
Like you started at 1.
practice games. They wear when they practice. They'll wear new shoes, and then they'll wear new shoes in the game. Break them out, pre-game. I remember when you said that video. I think he was with Carmen Electra. No, he was with Barbara Waters. He was Barbara Waters.
What are you saying?
I'm in about now. He's in Barbara Waters. Well, I am going in now. 2 hours. Let me see if there's anything I had to add. You know what somebody called me? Somebody called me a magical Negro. Like, that's what somebody left in the comment. They're like, he's a magical Negro. Like, okay, magical. I said, you got in bed with the man. That's what I said to my son. He came home, Tom, and I said, you in bed with the man. He ain't Uncle Tom. He in bed with the man. Don't be giving me them funny comments, because that would mean you in bed with the man. But rest well tonight. May you feel protected. May you feel that nothing can bother you. Rest well, for sure. Those of you who work, may you go home safely. And may you get the rest you need. Love is unequal. It just is. So love. Because the only way you can receive love is if you have love in your heart. If you don't have love in your heart, you can't receive it. And Mora, words from the Time Walkers. It all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had exact numbers of years and days before they would disappear off the earth as a culture and a lifestyle. But the civilization would build to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the Great Serpent. You know, I wonder what the original word was. Earth is substituted. I wonder what the original word was. I wonder what they called it. Gia, Mu. There's no way that ancient culture would have called it Earth. So this is the word substituted. And another thing, remember, I am another yourself. So treat other people like they are yourself. Be kind. It's not hard to be kind. And the days are long, but the years are short. Well, Brother Edwards didn't come in. I do want to give you the fractal of the transformation, the Where Baby. Because this is free. This is in the Americas. This is where we can tap in. The transformation. That's what we all do, the transformation. So I give that to you. Those of you that are ex-ball players know that what you did was sacred. No matter how old you were when you participated, it was sacred. That's why I tell you, I know a lot of people say it's bad that everybody gets trophies, but everybody gets trophies because their participation was sacred. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but that's what I think. My good friends were saying, that's bad for the culture, but understanding that what your participation is sacred. You're entering a sacred game. So yes, you should get rewarded for entering the sacred game. This is the point of it, to wear the helmet. So we should encourage our children to participate and wear the helmet. Because through the game is life lessons. And in closing, the days are long, but the years are short. Oh, B. Brown, thank you. That is so kind. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. No, thank you. A wise man once said, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Indeed. That's why, so many people teach this false light, and they want you to believe that the light is it. And in reality, the light comes from the very thing of wicked, the blinding light. Nothing can be gone. Nothing can be created out of blinding light. Nothing. You can generate nothing out of that. The very thing they try to tell you to go in. Nothing can be generated. It's something that eats stuff. It's almost like, what like a shredder. The light they tell you to go into is like a shredder. That energy goes in there and it gets shredded. And that's what they encourage you to do. But the real key, and this is the key, the real key is to create light and darkness. That's the real key, is to create light and darkness. That is the illumination that they want you to think is the true evil, is to illuminate. When you're in complete darkness, you illuminate. And they want you to think that's spooky. So, yeah. Well, y'all, you know who I am. Coming back at you. Thank you. Thank you for the comments. I look at my thing on comments, and it's great. You guys just, of all the things, of all my RPMs or whatever you call it, the comments are always on point. Thank you for that. No matter what they try to say on, it's like I've only, in the last 30 days, I've got three people joined, subscribers. And no, we're going on 37, no, 40 some days. I've only got 3 subscribers. Are you a Buddha head? Am I a Buddha head? I don't know. I don't know. You have to tell me what a Buddha head is. I don't know what that means. Might be too cool to talking for me. Like PJ was saying, somebody was saying I was fresh to death. The clothes was nice. And that, I know. So, but I'm going to close it. I'm sorry, D Slim. Leave it in the comments after the show. What that means. If I know there's a delay, if somebody has time to put it in, what that means. If you mean smoke buds, no, I take edibles, baby. That smoking is rough. I'm never going to smoke without water. So, well, nobody's answered, so I'm going to leave it at that. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your humble, and I thank you all for watching my stuff. I appreciate it. You just don't know how much I appreciate it. I don't ask for likes. I don't ask for subscribers, none of that stuff. I just appreciate the people that tune in when they tune in. And that all this time that people still tune into my stuff. So it doesn't matter on the numbers, it's that people watch my stuff. And I know we're really late tonight. I really like when Sly does a show and to come on after the show. I like that for Sundays. That's great. Just the energy's there, and a lot of people that like Sly like me. And so it gives me a chance to kind of get myself together and do a little production to get ready. I like that. So I hope he doesn't mind, but I appreciate that when he comes on Sundays, I like following. Like Johnny Carson and David Letterman at first. I'm the late show. I'm the morning show. I don't take that night. That's why I don't put it in there night. I like it because it's morning. It's technically morning. It's not really night. It's morning. Night is 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. He was asking if you smoke weed. That's what I thought. Yeah, I eat edibles. That's what I thought. Yeah, I do eat edibles. I had edible right before I started. It's starting to kick in. That's why I'm still talking, because it's the edible's kicking in. That's what I thought. See, PJ, he knows Negro. Thank you. See, PJ knows Negro speech. He's able to tell me. Hey, Chiefs guy. See, PJ is able to translate your Negro into my language. PJ, what did he mean? Oh, don't get upset. I'm just joking. I'm just joking, guys. I'm just joking. But I'll tell you what I said the other night about, the names of the 80s, or that's one of the best things I think I've ever said. I don't think people really listen to me. But I'm saying and I know we make fun of those names, the Pookies and Ray Rays, but the Bushiquas, but those people created a language. And we make fun of the language they created. They broke the mold of not wanting the John and Toms. These women actually created a language. And I know we make fun of it, but they created a language. And I know it's fun to make fun of it, but It's brilliant because they created a new language out of the scramble of the English. So yeah, we make fun of it, but hats off to y'all too, because I didn't see it then. But you people created a language because you got tired of the European language of calling yourself these European names. And you ain't got to be a El or Bay or Muhammad. You made up your own words with this scrambled language that is scrambled. Because this is a scrambled language, y'all was able to make these names. So, well, y'all, this has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. I'm your main man from Japan, Big Pontiac. Till we meet again, say less.